The simplest view of advertising consists of three players. You've got the most important component, the user. People like you and me who are spending increasing amounts of time on their devices, be it smartphones or tablets or apps or websites. This has attracted advertisers who want access to users and are willing to give dollars. And then there are publishers who are creating this content that we are consuming, and they have access to these users. In return, they want dollars. So in the most basic ecosystem, this is all that really existed. There were a few advertisers and a few publishers. These publishers would go directly to the advertisers and say, hey, I've got this amazing user base. Do you want to advertise? And these publishers would sell this inventory to advertisers who would say, sure, why don't you run my campaign? And at the end of the month, send me a bill and I'll pay for it. This worked for a little bit. But very soon, the advertising needs started expanding. A lot more advertisers started coming on board, and they had far more complicated objectives. It was no longer just send an ad. And on the publishing side, hundreds and thousands of publishers started building content for mobile devices. And very soon you had tens of thousands of advertisers and tens of thousands of diverse publishers spread out globally. So it was really no longer efficient for these publishers to sell their inventory to advertisers on a one-on-one basis. Nor was it effective for advertisers to buy ad inventory across all these publishers globally. This is where the important part of this puzzle gets solved. Enter an ad network like InMobi. InMobi is a two-sided marketplace that brings advertisers and publishers together. So what do? We exist to deliver amazing ad experiences to users. We do this by having a very deep understanding of the user, a massive technology platform powered by big data, and at a global scale every single day. Let's go very quickly into how InMobi actually does this, and that will form the rest of this lesson. So let's look at the two teams that actually bring these advertisers and publishers together. You have sales teams who work with advertisers, and you have business development teams who work with the publishers. The output of a successful engagement on the sales side is what we call a campaign. The output of a successful engagement with the BD team we would call ad inventory. So we've got campaigns and we've got ad inventory. Now let's dig a little deeper to understand how these campaigns are created and what happens inside. So when our sales team works with advertisers, we ask a lot of questions to understand what advertisers really want to achieve. We start by trying to understand what's their objective. Do you want to generate awareness about a product or service? Do you want to drive downloads? Or do you want to drive product sales? For example, if the advertiser is a commerce guy. What are some of the questions we ask? Who is your target audience? Are you advertising to people in a certain region? What's the message you're trying to give to your users? When do you want to run your campaign? And finally, how much money do you want to spend on this campaign? We do this with a couple of campaigns together. With an example, we will see how a life of a dollar exists inside InMobi. We're going to start by looking at a few campaigns and try to construct for you what happens when we get these campaigns into our system. What's the magic that happens behind the scenes that delivers amazing ad experiences to end users? Our sales team works with advertisers and brings us the campaign. We'll look at three campaigns. The first campaign is a campaign from Adidas. Their objective is to create awareness for a new product that they have launched. They are targeting Indians between the age groups of 18 to 34 years. The duration of the campaign is from August 1st to August 15th. The message they want to give is run free, and their budget is $100,000. Let's take a second campaign. In the same example, McDonald's wants to launch a new flavor. They have the same target audience, duration, their message is shared happiness, and budget is $75,000. And finally, we have Macy's campaign. Macy wants to generate awareness about a new clothing line that has launched. They are targeting 18 to 34-year-old Americans from August 16th to December 10th. Their message is Magic of Macy's with a budget of $60,000. So these three campaigns have entered our system. Now I will construct for you how a dollar flows in the InMobi system. So our three campaigns first land into the campaign management system. We're going to take all the inputs that the advertiser gave us and put them into the campaign management system. We have C1 representing Adidas, C2 representing McDonald's, and C3 representing Macy's. I'm going to introduce a very important concept here. How does the advertiser want to pay? The most basic model is CPM, which stands for cost per mille. This means that the advertiser pays only if 1,000 such impressions of the ad are shown to the end users. So Nike is willing to pay $2 for every 1,000 times the ad is seen by the user. McDonald's is willing to pay $1.5 and Macy's $2.5. The second system we're going to talk about is the AdOps system. AdOps is the team that reviews the quality of the campaign on the basis of a variety of factors, such as, are the creatives of a standard quality? Or is the creative compliant with all the laws of the location where the campaign wants to run? Are they respecting the publisher preferences? So after checking all these factors, the AdOps team approves or rejects the campaign. So in this example, let's say all the three campaigns have been approved by the AdOps team. So now these campaigns are ready to reach the end users. Such approved campaigns would go to the next system called the ad server. So in other words, these campaigns are waiting for what we call an ad request. Now we're going to jump to the publisher side. So you have BD teams who work with a variety of publishers all over the world. Our BD teams are going to be signing up these publishers and bringing ad inventory. In this example, we're going to take one such publisher called Ruzzle, which is a popular word game. Let's say InMobi has integrated with them. So our team has brought that inventory on board. For the life of a dollar example, we're going to start with the first event, where an ad request is fired by Ruzzle. So let's understand what an ad request is. Imagine you're playing on Ruzzle, and Ruzzle wants to show an ad to you, the user. They would trigger an ad request to InMobi's server. It's a way of saying, hey, I've got this user, can you give me a relevant ad? So now let's jump into what happens next. The ad request hits our ad serving. Remember, our ad serving has three relevant campaigns, and we have to serve the most relevant and valuable campaign for this user on Ruzzle. So our ad server understands what this request and user is all about. In this example, we are going to assume the ad server decoded the request as coming from a user in India who's in the age group 18 to 34 years on a mobile device. So it looks at the thousands of campaigns that we have. In this case, we have 3. So we're going to look at all these 3 campaigns and pick the campaigns that are relevant to this ad request. Adidas and McDonald's are relevant because they both want to target users located in India between the age groups of 18 to 34 years. Macy's, however, is not relevant because they are targeting people in the USA. So 2 campaigns have been shortlisted. But the job of ad serving is not done. We need to return the one most relevant ad back to the user. So we're going to jump to the next system. That's the auction process. Auction is a way for us to efficiently decide the best campaign to serve for this request. And we do this for every single ad request. So at InMobi scale, that's about 5 million ad requests every day. So we're going to run an auction between both these campaigns and try to figure out which one is the more valuable ad. So since Adidas is willing to pay $2, their ad is more relevant. And therefore, we would serve Adidas ad. So this is the second event. So InMobi served Adidas ad back to the user, and the ad actually got rendered, which makes it the third event. So when these two events happened, it gets reported by our tracking and reporting system. So remember, the first event is the ad request. So +1 for the ad request hitting our system. We actually ran the auction and picked the winner and served it. That's the second event. So we're going to +1 for that. The ad actually got rendered, so +1 in the ads rendered column. So now we need to do the next most important thing, which is to make money. So this moves us into the next system, which is called the billing system. The advertiser that won this auction and served the ad was Adidas. So we're going to charge them for this. Remember, they were willing to pay $2 for every 1,000 impressions rendered. In this example, we've said that 1,000 impressions have been rendered. So we're going to charge them $2. InMobi is going to keep a share of that and pass the rest of it back to the publisher. So this is a very simple view of what happens in the life of a dollar within the InMobi system. Thank you for listening.